Hello, I'm your host, Nye-X, ready for episode 6 of Truth or Trickery. Pay attention to each story. Remember, one is based on facts. Go to the post section afterwards and vote on which tale you think is factual. Get ready!
The headlights burned through the darkness, relentless and blinding. Carrie gripped the steering wheel, her pulse hammering in her ears. The tow truck behind her surged forward again, its high beams flashing like a warning or a threat. She had seen the driver back at the roadside diner, his hulking frame, his piercing stare. Now, he was chasing her down the empty highway, honking, swerving, ramming her bumper. Her phone slipped from her trembling fingers, clattering onto the floor. She reached for it, but the truck slammed into her again, forcing her to veer off the road. The tires screeched. The car lurched to a stop. Carrie barely had time to react before the tow truck driver was at her window, shotgun in hand. "Out," he barked. She obeyed, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Then, he turned the gun, not on her, but on the shadowy figure in her backseat. A man she hadn't even known was there. The stranger's knife gleamed in the dim light. The tow truck driver fired. The blade clattered to the ground. Carrie staggered back, her mind reeling. The driver lowered his weapon, his expression grim. "I wasn't chasing you," he said. "I was saving you." The truth settled in her chest like ice. She had been running from the wrong monster.
"Hey, Andy, you think you can finish Rob's project?" "He had to leave," Mr. Smith said. "Sure, I got it, no sweat," I said. "My name's Andy Hanks, and I'm striving to be a top tech developer at my company. I normally don't mind long hours, but with my wife, Susan, 10 months pregnant, I really should be home." "Thanks, Andy. You're gonna be on top soon," my boss said as he waddled out of my office. As I started to tackle the project, my cell phone rang. "Hello? Andy? Please hurry. My water broke. It hurts. Susan. Holy shit. I'll come get you. Andy, no. Meet me at hospital." I called an ambulance. I dashed out of the office, not saying a word to anyone. After hopping in my car, I made a mad dash to the hospital. On this night, not even Dale Earnhardt could beat me. I pulled up to the hospital, parked out front, and jumped out. I ran into the large building, finding the receptionist who pointed me to the delivery unit. I rushed up to find a doctor coming out of a room shaking his head. "Sir Doc," I said, "my wife, Susan Hanks, is in labor." "Do you know where she is?" The doctor frowned. "Come this way." The doctor took me back into a delivery room where I saw Susan on a bed. Her eyes were closed, an oxygen mask over her face. Doctors were attempting to pull the baby out, but there was something amiss. "What's wrong, Doc?" I asked, my voice shaking. The doctor placed a gloved hand on my shoulder. "We have a problem, Mr. Hanks. There's an issue with delivery. Unfortunately, a lot of blood was lost. We have only a few seconds to spare your wife. But if we do, the baby won't make it. You have to decide, and quickly." Tears filled my eyes, my lips trembled. I looked at my unconscious wife. I thought of the nursery we made for my son, Randy. We were going to name him Mr. Hanks. I don't know," I cried. Suddenly, movement caught my eye. I looked over to see the spirit of my wife stand up from her body. The machine flatlined. Doctors rushed to save Susan. "Mr. Hanks, make a decision," the doctor screamed. My wife's spirit approached as I continued to sob. She placed her cold hand on my cheek. "It's okay, Andy. I love you. Save my little boy. Save him." She disappeared. I closed my eyes.
"76-year-old Gus Reynolds sat next to a hospital bed, squeezing the hand of his deceased wife, Esther. No, Esther. Gus cried uncontrollably. I was supposed to go first. Gus suffered from heart problems while Esther had been in perfect health until pneumonia struck. "I want to dance with you. Just one more time," Gus said. As a young woman, Esther was a professional dancer. One night at a club, she stayed late to practice. There, she met the custodian, Gus, and the two hit it off. The two danced together that night. They danced on their first date. They danced on their wedding day and moments before their son, Wayne, was born. Gus and Esther had danced all the way up until the night she had fallen ill. "I can't go on without you," Gus said. "Excuse me, Mr. Reynolds," a doctor said, entering the room. "You should come with me. We need to go over some things." Gus winced. "Give me one more minute with her, please." The doctor nodded. Gus squeezed Esther's hand. "Just one more dance. All I want." Gus reached for his cane. His arms shook as he stood up. He made his way over to the door. As Gus grabbed the handle, he glanced back at Esther. "Good night, my love." Just then, a look of horror spread across his face. He reached for his chest before collapsing against the door. "Mr. Reynolds," the doctor bellowed. As the doctor and a few nurses rushed toward Gus, a bright light shone over Esther's bed. Gus stood outside of his body, watching himself lying lifeless on the floor. He had looked at his hands. They were see-through. "I'd like that dance now, Buster." Gus's eyes widened. He knew that voice. "Esther." Gus turned to see his wife, the 30-year-old version of her, standing beneath the glowing light. "Is it really you, my dear?" Gus asked. Esther, young and beautiful, reached out her hand. "Come find out," Esther said, smiling. "You owe me a dance." The doctor screamed at the nurses to grab a defibrillator. It didn't matter, however. Gus was already gone. "Well?" Esther asked, giggling. Gus stepped into the light. As soon as he had, he transformed into his 30-year-old self, his prime, and the two locked hands. "I love you, Esther." Esther gave Gus a small kiss. "I love you too." The two slowly danced as the light carried them away to a better place.